All right, let's go ahead and get it started, man. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast, episode 131. For today's topic, we're going to be discussing a topic that I would say is something that I've always been an advocate for, but something that I definitely wanted to make an individual specific podcast for. So, the podcast topic, and also if you are in here, make sure to go ahead and leave in the comments. All right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yeah, Jaden, appreciate for stopping by. Like I said, if you are in here, make sure to let me know. All right, today's topic: your responsibility to the world. Now, this is going to be a podcast that can be digested and consumed many different ways. Now, the way that I want to go ahead and kind of base this podcast on is there's many different contributions that you can go ahead and give the world, and that it's truly your responsibility to go ahead and give it to the world. But I wanted to mention this specific one because I believe that more than ever, for whatever reason, this isn't being as expressed as it truly should be, and I feel like it's going to hinder society. And when I say hinder society, I mean also not turning things into change, but turning things into more of a control. So, what does he say? Your responsibility to the world is to provide awesome content, and you do it. I appreciate it, and that is going to be part of the message that I definitely wanted to go ahead and mention today. So I'm gonna get into this a little bit, man. So a few things I want to mention before I actually get it started. Make sure you go and follow me on TikTok, Life of a Champ Podcast on TikTok. Make sure you go ahead and like my YouTube Shorts as well as my YouTube clips as well. If you can't catch a full podcast, but still want to go ahead and get the content, make sure you go and tap in with that for sure. All right. So to get it started, wholesome, is that what you mean? Maybe that's what you mean. I could be wrong, but it is what it is. Getting into it, right? The first thing I gotta say is when you write, you expand the conscious or the recorded conscious thought. It's your responsibility to add your mind's genius, your thoughts, your beliefs, whatever it is, to something that would add value to someone's life, right? Your wisdom from learned experiences need to be shared to change the world, right? So what that means to me, like I said, this is something that I just thought about and something that I gave a lot of thought to, truly. And I do believe that part of the way I'm doing this is not only through this podcast, but through this thing that I would recommend more people to do, because I do believe that it's going to help alter the minds of people who consume stuff on the internet. So with that being said, I have recently decided to add a different type of content that I wanted to go ahead and put out. And this is going to be in the form of basically taking the thoughts that I have, or basically getting the main ideas of the podcast, and also getting it out and just typing it out, and allowing my own thoughts, and like I said, either thoughts that I've had recently or thoughts that I've had in the past, and allowing people to consume that in some type of way, and of course would bring them value. And I definitely believe that's more people should do this, right? Even if you don't have a huge platform, even if you don't, expect it to go anywhere at all, I do believe that you do this world a disservice if you don't do something like that. If you don't express yourself and express your ideas and let people know what you think, and obviously, hopefully you have. If you do let the world know what you think, hopefully you are um, a person who gave that a lot of thought instead of just saying shit that they just learned, right? So, yeah. With that being said, let me get back into that. So, when you write, you expand the recorded conscious thought, right? So, whether you are here or whether you're not here, if you have something that is actually recorded, like I said, when you write something down, it's recorded. When you put something in notes on your phone, it is recorded. And like I said, you expand the recorded conscious thought. So let's just say years go by, maybe you're not even here anymore, maybe you die, whatever, right? People are still going to be able to consume your content, consume your ideas, consider them and ponder them for their own life. Also, with this being said, writing a book would be a perfect example of this as well, and I do believe that is something that I'm definitely going to go ahead and do within my lifetime. Definitely looking forward to. But yes, when you write, you expand the recorded conscious thought. It's your responsibility to add your mind's genius Like I said, when I say your mind's genius, I'm saying your own thoughts, your own life experiences, whatever it is. It's your responsibility to take those experiences, take all those learned ways of being, and also add value to someone's life in some type of way. Like I said, however you master to do that is up to you. The way that I do it is podcasting and also posting those thoughts that I do have that I do believe that could help people out, right? Or at the very least give them some type of like useful thought, because most stuff on the internet, as I'm sure you know watching this, right, it doesn't really add anything to your thoughts at all, right? If anything, it's a waste of a thought in all, right? It's just a waste of a thought. So I definitely wanted to do that. And like I said, for you watching this, for example, right? I don't know what specific way that you're going to go ahead and manage this, but I do believe that it is your responsibility to figure this out, because if not, you're hurting the people around you. And not, this is gonna have similar context, but I definitely wanted to bring it up because it was something that I noticed within my day. Um, and I seen it at the very beginning of my day, and I'm like, man, that is so true to an extent. And you're not exactly lying. But okay, I'm gonna go and explain. The quote is this: is a Jordan Peterson quote. When you have something to say, silence is a lie. Now, this can be regarded in many. This could be specifically relevant to a lot of different topics, but the way that I'm gonna bring relevance into this topic is this: when you have something to say that could change the mind and help the next person around you, right? The next person next to you, right? If you refuse to say it, you're avoiding yourself of responsibility from potentially helping somebody out. What did Josh say? This is a quote I live by. For the people making the rules, there's no rules. Yes. For the people making the rules, there's no rules. Interesting. That's interesting for sure. Like I said, tie it back into the relevance of today's topic, and then I'll get into it for sure, for sure. But that's not a bad quote. That's not a bad quote. But getting back to what I was saying, right? Silence is a lie when you know better. When you see somebody making a mistake that you've made before and that you learn from, and you really allow them to make the mistake, you almost lie to them. You hurt them in some type of way. You hurt the human species in some type of way by not giving and contributing in that way. And of course, there's going to be certain things people need to learn for themselves. That's fine. Okay, fine. But in as many ways as possible, you should be trying to go ahead and help people out, right? Sadly, I don't see enough people doing this. They don't provide value in any type of way to anybody. And like I said, what are you here for? Truly, what are you here for? Are you here to just exist? Or are you here to truly help people out and change the world? If you're not here for that, then like I said, I don't know why you exist. I don't know why you exist at all. Give me 1 second. The ending of that quote was, "Your wisdom from learned experiences needs to be shared in order to change the world." And I do believe that is exactly what it is, right? Um, if you truly want to see some good in this life, in this world, right, you need to be the good in this world, right? That's what it comes down to. If you don't see enough good, that means you need to take responsibility and contribute positively to this world. And if you don't, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? You're just, like I said, you're nothing more than a waste, right? You should be trying to help people out. And like I said, that is going to be the responsibility. That is going to be part of the main responsibility that you have to this world, right? And I want to get back into this, right? You do the world a disservice if you choose not to, in some type of way. In some type of way, you need to express it. If you choose not to, the world becomes a worse place. Truly, truly becomes a worse place. And yeah, it's just as simple as that. Okay, I can't. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try to read all that in my head. Give me a second, man. All right, give me a second. Give me a second. I'll read. I'll read it. Realms of cosmic echoes, unfathomable whispers dance upon the eternal tapestry of existence, transcending the boundaries of understanding, embracing the, I don't know that word, essence of boundless, meaningless. All right, now go ahead and sum that up. I want you to go ahead and sum that up to something more consumable for the most people watching this. Right? I'm not saying I can't consume that, of course, but I want to know what if you had to simplify that. This is something that I've also thought about recently as well. If you had to simplify, if you had to dumb that down for people to consume that, for most people to understand it, how would you go about it? Well, how would you go about that? Obviously, it's a good quote, but yeah, how would you go about that? A great thing about your podcast is that anyone can watch whenever and wherever, and it will reach people who need it all the time. or at the time that they do, whether it's now or years from now. Yes, I would agree. I would agree, and that is why I've strategically That's why I've strategically chosen to do what I do. Right. This is I spent hours and hours and hours of my life thinking about how to contribute positively to the world. Truly, and with all the content that's out, with all the things that are being consumed, I knew damn well that it needed to be something that people consume. The way that I contribute positively to the world is by something is by adding value, and like I said earlier, right, giving my life experiences, adding my mind's genius into the world of other people, right, and that's gonna help somebody out. It's gonna help somebody out for sure. I would agree. Let me get back into it. So I want to go over a few more things, and like I said, I feel like this is where somebody can contribute as well. If you're in the comments right now watching this, is there if you find another way that you think it is your responsibility to go ahead and contribute positively to this world in some type of way, I want you to go and leave in the comments. I'm gonna give you a few of the ones that I've seen. I'm gonna give you two of the ones that I've seen that I think are very very prevalent to this topic. So obviously, with anything, and I'm sure you're watching this or heard somebody say this somewhere. Um, when it comes to this world, you should leave it better than which when you got here, right? You should leave it better than when you got here. And with that being said, a way of giving to the world is by giving the world our children, right? Hopefully, those children are going to be somewhat of the best versions of ourselves. Hopefully, you're giving your children some of the best traits that you have, and teaching them about the world to the point where um, even those people that you, like I said, the children that you have, they're going to contribute positively to the world as well. That's one way of making the world a better place, is by raising children in such a way that they would be the good in the world, right? That's going to be one of the ultimate positive contributions that you can ever make to this world, right? Along with that, like I said, your mind, right? Having things up for discussion, and instead of just it being the way that it is, challenging challenging the thoughts that already exist, challenging the existence, yeah, truly the existence of thought itself, by giving your 2 cents, is obviously another way. And then the last way that I wanted to go ahead and mention is wait, is right here. Yeah, no, that's pretty much what I said. It's by expressing what we really think. And with that being said, writing and things like that, adding to the recorded conscious thought, that's one thing. But also, like I said, even having the conversations and truly truly saying exactly what you think is gonna add a positive contribution, because at the very least, hopefully it's gonna be challenging the ideas of other people. And when you have two sides of the coin, you can go ahead and evaluate both sides and then make your decision based off of that. And I feel like, unfortunately, I don't see enough of that type of content. Now I'm starting to see it because that's just the content that I like to watch. But I like, and just like everybody else, should like content that's going to challenge what you think and how you move. And that is something that I've chosen to do. But quite frankly, like I said, I still see a lot of people who truly don't say everything that's on their mind. Um, and is sheathing this their true intentions and their true thoughts for either financial gain, for whatever reason. But I do believe that you're selling yourself out if you can't say exactly what you think. If you're really um, avoiding yourself from responsibility of contributing to this world by not saying what you truly think, because now you're leading the blind, right? Let's just say, for example, the next person that comes up, if you're not willing to say the things that you believe, the next person up is never gonna see you as an example, right? So therefore, they're never gonna stand up and say what they truly think. So therefore, it's this constant perpetual cycle that's not going to lead to anything positive, truly. And with that being said, that is why I recommend for you to say exactly what you think, challenge people, create better thoughts for yourself, right? Let's just say you don't have it fully thought out, you still say it, you get challenged by it, and hopefully you and that person that's having that conversation, disagreement, argument, whatever it is, hopefully comes away with a better understanding, right? And that is truly the good in the world. The good in the world is not just believing everything that you're told. The good in the world is being able to decipher for your own self by having by having both sides of the argument, and then therefore creating a solution, creating an answer for yourself, right? I don't see that happening enough, unfortunately. But like I said, I'm sure some of your favorite content creators are going to be people who are able to do that, right? They're going to be people who are not afraid of saying what they think. They're not going to be afraid of being real, truly real, right? I feel like those are going to be people you admire the most, and we need more of that, right? So you watching this right now, how are you contributing positively to this world? Are you truly giving your mind's genius to this world, or are you doing this world a disservice? What do you think? Like I said, silence is a lie. So if you have something to say and you refuse to say it, you're truly wasting people's time, because maybe they could have had the wisdom that you gave them, and maybe they would have avoided themselves from that mistake. You never know, man. You never know. And it's kind of an interesting way to think about it, because you should be able to avoid yourself from responsibility, but that's not how the world works, right? That's not how the world works truly. Ideally you should be able to avoid yourself from that, but truly, um you can't. You just can't. That's all I got to say. Give me 1 second. That's another quote I like. It says stuff about the mystical, incomprehensible nature of the universe, suggesting that within the vast space of and time, there are echoes of cosmic events that remain beyond our comprehension. The echoes are depicted as whispers that intrinsically weave themselves into the fabric of existence, and they suppress surpass our limits of understanding, symbolizing the enigmatic. Yeah, okay. Come on, man. What does that have to do? That okay, fine, okay, fine, okay. I think a good way to contribute to the world is by being someone who continues to show love and forgiveness even to the people who don't necessarily deserve it. There's not a lot of people doing that. Yeah, I would agree. And of course, there's some people that would say that mindset. I'm responding to Jaden. I would say there's going to be some people that say that mindset is a little, how would I say, naive, right? That's gonna be the some if somebody were to knock that conversation or knock that point, right? They're gonna say it's not gonna be as you're gonna be a little naive. You're gonna open yourself up for hurt. But that is, and I agree with that. I agree with that thought you just said, Jaden, because truly, if we had more people like that, then if people were to ruin those type of people, we would have more people who would feel that guilt for doing that to that person, and therefore I do believe that eventually, hopefully, it'd be better than what life is right now. But yes, that is also why a lot of people appreciate you for sure. Another good way is to kind of speak up for other people. A lot of people are scared to speak up about certain topics, but it takes a different kind of bravery to speak up for what you believe in, also creating a path for others to do the same thing. Yes, I would agree. I would agree with you time and time again. Even in those uncomfortable situations, if nobody's saying anything, then the problem's going to continue to persist. But if you have one person who truly learned from somebody, by the way, let me get this correct, right? You get somebody who truly learned from somebody to speak like that, then they're able to speak up for themselves. And not only speak up for themselves, but speak up for the people that are going to be next to them, right? Maybe they have a belief, maybe they are suppressing their own belief, right? If you have one person that's going to say something, other people are going to feel comfortable to do the same thing. Now, if you have a bunch of people suppressing what they truly think, the next person's going to do the same exact thing. So, like I said, what it comes down to is this: it is your responsibility to go ahead and say what you think. It's your responsibility to add to the recorded conscious thought that exists, right? It's your responsibility to give your wisdom and give your life's experience and your mind's genius to the people. That is there's no other specific way of living that you should live. Like I said, along with that, ultimately trying to find a means to go ahead and contribute to other people's lives. Like I said, whether it's a podcast, whether it's just typing your thoughts out, and maybe some people see it, maybe some people don't, right? Doing it any way that you possibly can. Of course, there's going to be other different ways that I haven't mentioned on this podcast, but figure out a specific way which works best for you, and then go for it, man. That's all I got to say. If you guys have any specific thoughts regarding this podcast, I also want you to go ahead and leave in the comments. I do appreciate your guys' contributions for sure. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. My lip's hurting right now, man. I was playing basketball the other day. I got hit in the lip, man. I'm trying to survive out here. But like I said, I do appreciate everyone who's watching. Also, if you're rewatching this, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. If you're watching this live, also if you want to go ahead and leave a like, make sure you go ahead and do that as well. But this was pretty much the podcast for today. Like I said, I'll go over everything that I had mentioned. But when it comes down to it, is this: it is your responsibility to contribute positively to this world. How you go about that is going to be up to you. Maybe if you have any specific questions of going about that, make sure to leave in the comments. Maybe I can help somebody out. But I do believe I don't see enough people doing this. I truly just see people consuming negative content, and instead you should be consuming positive content, right? The fact that the fact that negative content exists is so sad, but at the same time, with a negative force, there's going to be an equal and opposite force of positive content, right? And with that being said, if, as long as we have more people creating that type of content, the world's going to be better. The world and people's minds are going to be better with that. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. So I wanted to just extend my own thought, right? So this is a thought that I had in my own mind. This specific podcast is a thought that I had in my own mind, but I definitely wanted to expand it because I do believe that there's a lot of people who can contribute to expanding that thoughts. And having these certain types of thoughts, whether this is something that you've heard of or something that you haven't heard of, as long as people are having these types of conversations, the world's going to get better. I believe that. I believe that for sure. When you're in the lead, there's nothing to follow. Yeah, no, no, that's a tough quote. That's a tough quote for sure. When you're in the lead, there's nothing to follow. And yeah, I feel like also more people should create more positive content. Like I said, just more content in general, right? Because at the same time, you're not consuming, you're creating. Creating is creating is different. That's why I absolutely love creating content, right? It's because it's just a whole different experience. It's something else to look out for, and it's something that you can control, and that makes it a little bit more enjoyable for sure. So let me see if I can talk about something else. Give me 1 second. Like I said, if you guys have anything else that you want to go ahead and contribute to that thought, I want you to let me know for sure. I want to talk about this other topic, but I don't know if I think I should make a separate podcast for that. Give me 1 second. So with that being said, I had made a podcast previously, maybe within like my last like 3 or 4 podcasts. If you want to go ahead and watch that one, the topic was how to expand your thoughts and ideas. So if you need help with expanding your thoughts and ideas, which I do believe most people do to an extent, and even myself, which is why I made this podcast in the first place, is to expand my own thoughts and ideas. But with that being said, I mentioned something similar, which was you must be able to effectively communicate your mind's genius into well thought out speech. With that being said, now you can give the world videos of you speaking. You can give the world your words of wisdom. Another specific way. Um, but there's many different ways that you can contribute positively to this world, and I do believe that everyone should be trying to do it in some type of way. Here's the way I look at it. Right, the only way you can complain about the shit that's going on in the world that's negative is if you're contributing positively. That's the only way. You can't be bashing the world and also not contributing positively at all. That makes no sense. You're not even doing your part. You're not even doing your part. You're just complaining, right? Nobody likes somebody who just complains, right? If you're gonna complain about a certain thing, you should at least be doing the opposite thing. That's that's um that's contradicting the point that you have. So like I said, if you're gonna complain, cool, but you better be doing something. You better be doing something that's contributing positively to this world. Then you have reason to complain. But if you're just complaining to complain and you're not doing anything positively, then you're just a waste of time. That's all I gotta say. That's crazy, dog. I saw this Bible verse. What do you think? I'm not gonna say that. What do I think? Damn. Let's see. That's crazy, man. Hey, if that's the Bible, that's the Bible, man. Hey, that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. What do I think? I think, dude, I don't know what you gotta say. I don't know what you gotta say. Send that to me, man. Um, I think that women have things to teach as well, right? I do believe women have things to teach. Um, and I think women that should be heard of the things that they have learned, right? I do believe that life would be a lot better, truly, if women of the past were to give young women some advice, and more importantly, a woman that is actually worth hearing advice from. Because I see a lot of people unfortunately, how do I want to say this? I see a lot of women who are truly not in the position to be saying anything to any other woman because of their life decisions that they've made, but they still feel entitled to say something to this world when they haven't really contributed positively. So with that being said, there's going to be some women in this world that truly have something to say, and I do believe more women who are good quality women who have learned from their mistakes should say stuff and teach younger women, because younger women are running into problems that older women eventually run into. And young women don't even know it. So that's what I have to say about that. To teach or have authority over a man, she's to keep silent. That's crazy, dog. That's crazy. Okay, part of the okay, I'm gonna respond to some of that, right? And I do believe this is prevalent, right? This is completely off topic, but I'll go ahead and add to it, right? No woman to teach, right? I was just talking to Sarah about this when we were on a vacation, and I said that if a woman is in a position to teach a man anything about anything, he automatically feels incompetent to some type of capacity. He feels incompetent, and the man is gonna feel not gonna feel good about that, right? I've had my fair share of situations where I was a little lacking in something that maybe I shouldn't have been lacking in, and a woman tried to teach me, and automatically I felt less than, right? So with that being said, permit no woman to teach. If, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of men that truly cannot learn from women in some type of way. I believe that. I believe that they're just for whatever reason, maybe they're egotistical, whatever you would like to call them. Um, Men don't like to feel incompetent in any capacity around women. And with that being said, um, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. That quote's so crazy, dog. That shit's crazy. Hey, like I said, if the Bible got it, hey, it is what it is, I guess. All right, give me 1 second. I can get back to my notes. I'm gonna reiterate some of the things that I mentioned. Like I said, if you have any comments that you want to go ahead and contribute to this podcast, go ahead and leave it in the comments for sure. All right. But Jaden had to clarify that speaking towards marriage. It's interesting for sure. Isn't that interesting that the Bible says stuff like that? And if that type of content was spewed out today, people would be very, very, very upset. I'll say that. I'll say that. That's the very least. He's just messing around now. Yo, is that really from the Bible? There's no way. There's no way that's from the Bible, dog. All right, getting back into it, right? When you write, you expand the recorded conscious thought. Now, this is something that I'm gonna recommend for every single person watching this to go ahead and do, whether this is writing in their notes themselves, whether this is writing posts for social media that you can go ahead and give somebody true wisdom. Um, in any way, in any specific way, I do believe that this can help your life out for sure. Rec- Make sure you're writing. Make sure you're writing in some type of way, getting your thoughts out. Right? If you have a great thought, if you have a great thought that you feel like can help somebody out, you need to write that down. If you have a great thought in general, maybe it doesn't even help anybody out, but you think it's a great thought, write it out. Like I said, whether this is in your notes, whether this is an actual notepad, write it out, get it out. Because here's the thing: if it's truly your mind's genius, it needs to be something that you can refer back to, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot of great ideas, I'm sure, that were never actually recorded, that were forgotten, and right. And with that being said, you want to add to the recorded conscious thought by writing the things that you truly believe are genius down, right? This is something that I've done, something that I will continue to do for the rest of my existence. Like I mentioned, it's your responsibility to add to your mind's genius, or to add your mind's genius to something that would add value to someone's life. It is your responsibility to help out your fellow person by giving them the wisdom, by giving them the experiences, that would warrant them to avoid that situation if it were to happen again. Sadly, I do believe that more people would be in the better position if people were to teach who have already been through it. Unfortunately, I don't see enough people teaching like that. That's why I've chosen to do this podcast, because I believe that I can help somebody out, because there's going to be a person. There's things that I'm going through right now that I know a person in 5 years from now are going to go ahead and experience, and I want to be able to help them out in that position. So that's something they should be doing as well. Your wisdom from learned experiences need to be shared to change the world. In order to change the world, you must figure out how to change yourself, right? Figure out the ways that you need to go ahead and adjust, and now give that information to the people, right? The people need it. The people absolutely need it. And with that being said, the only way you can change the world is by changing one person at a time, right? And that, like I said, that's ultimately by doing it at any means necessary for you watching this right now, right? Any way that you can go ahead and do that, any way you can think about going ahead and doing that, make sure you go ahead and do it. And the one thing I want to mention with that as well, and I'm going to reiterate this point that I've already mentioned, but I do believe that it is so relevant to the conversation, something that people won't think about. Some people need to hear this, because if they don't hear this, then they will definitely not do it, right? If you do not choose to do what I had said, you're doing the world a disservice, right? And that is harsh, because you're taking on a level of responsibility that maybe you didn't ask for. But at the same time, if you have the answers to somebody's problems, yet you choose to be selfish with the true answer to those problems, then you're not helping as many people out as you possibly can, and you're literally contributing negatively to the world, right? I would say it's as simple as that, right? If you have something to say, silence is a lie, like Jordan Peterson's quote had mentioned, right? So yeah, it is your responsibility that you have to the world, and if you believe something else, I want you to go ahead and let me know in the comments as well, right? I feel like some people are gonna believe other things, but truly that is just what I believe, because that is how I live life. If I see a person struggling, I want to go ahead and give them the advice that I wish somebody were to give me, right? That is just the way that I live life. If man gets into fight with one another, and the wife of one intervenes to rescue her husband from the grip of his opponent by reaching out and seizing his, you shall cut off her hand. Show no pity. If that's real, that's crazy, dog. That's so crazy. That's so random. That's so random, dog. That's all I gotta say. Like I said, if you have any specific thoughts regarding the actual podcast, make sure to go and let me know in the comments for sure. Josh, I appreciate you for stopping by though, man. You've been tapping in the last few podcasts. I do appreciate it, man. All right. So like I said, it is our responsibility to leave the world better than what we had got into it. So with that being said, if you were to die today, can you truly say and live with yourself saying, you know what, I positively contributed to this world. I truly did all that I could. I truly did enough. And if that's a no, then that should tell you something. Maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you're not helping enough people. Maybe you're not putting people in position to win. Think about that for a second, man. Think about that for a second. Are you truly doing enough? If you died today, like I said, if you died today, would you be satisfied with the work that you put in, with the information that you gave the world? And I'm at the position where I truly believe that. I truly believe this. I truly believe this. I have enough content that's out. I have 131 podcasts uploaded, almost 500 total videos uploaded, right? With that being said, I have given the world not all that I could, but I've given the world more than a hell of a lot of people. That's all I gotta say. I do believe if I died today, I'd be a legend. I'd be a legend with the amount of content that I make, the type of content that I make. It would be recognized. It'd be recognized within my community that I'm making content for. That's what I will say. Whether you agree with that or whether you don't agree with that, it is just as simple as that, right? Like I do believe that because I've put in the work. I've added value to the lives of many people, and I was able to add to the recorded conscious thought in a way that was uniquely myself by being genuine, and also by going through my own life experiences, observing the life experiences of other people, and also talking about it, and being willing to have the conversation that most people maybe aren't willing to have. So, Like I said, if I died today, I'd be completely satisfied with my work, my life's work. I would be. Would I have done? Would I have felt like I've done enough? Yes, but what would I have felt like I could have done more? Of course, right? Of course. I feel like everybody should be able to have that same answer. I think if I died today, I would be sad. I would have not done much. You make me want to do more. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Like I said, doing more. Doing more is just the little things, man. It doesn't have to be something so big, but like I said, you just got to be positively contributing, man. And I feel like a lot of people would sadly relate with that, right? If they died today, I don't think they would be satisfied with their contribution that they gave the world. And like I said, you watching this right now, like I said, ask yourself the question: if you're not doing enough, then figure out ways that you can do more. And like I said, that is what life's about, man. That is what life's about. Life is about doing for other people. That's what it comes down to. You're doing it for your loved ones. You're doing it for the people that are struggling, right? You can help those people out. You can help the people that come after you, right? Um, if you don't think you can, I don't know what you're doing. You're not locking in, man. You're not locking in, man. But like I said, I'm gonna ask you the question one more time. If you were to die today, are you satisfied with the positive contributions that you gave the world? If you aren't, figure out a specific way that you can go ahead and positively contribute to this world, because we need more people like you that are willing to do the things that are willing to contribute to the world positively. We're looking for those type of people in this world. This world needs it, and I'm sure everyone watching this, like I said, I'm sure you're seeing some of the worst of the world. I'm sure you recently have probably seen some of the worst of the world. Um, and there needs to be an equal and opposite force that's going to be stronger than that, right? If you had 1,000 people, how would you help people? If you had 1,000, if you had 1,000, how would you help people? I want you to go ahead and clarify that question. Whether it's 5 people in here, whether it's 500,000 people in here, I'm gonna be preaching this. I'm gonna be preaching similar messages, man. That's all I'm gonna say. My messages will stay semi constant. They'll be a little bit more entertaining with more people, but message will stay the same, man. Life is short, so enjoy it. Treat people how you wish they treated you, because if you give out what you give out what you receive 10 times, but always do it everything with a genuine good heart. Sarah, appreciate for saying that. Yeah, that is exactly true. That is the way that I live life, and that is also the way that Jaden lives life as well. So there's gonna be a hopefully somebody can take that as well. You just clarify 1,000. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. You got it, Josh. You got it, man. You got it, my man. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up what I have to say, and like I said, I'll leave the comments running for a few more minutes, and then I'll go ahead and end it off, fellas. If I had $1,000, what would I do? How would I help people? I would help the hungry people. I would maybe invest in something that could positively contribute to somebody. $1,000? That's a pretty random question. If I had $1,000, how would I help? How would I help people? $1,000 is not that much money, unfortunately. Um, let me think. Uh, well, let's just say if I had $1,000, I would invest in something. Feed the homeless is an easy cop out. Like I said, the way that I would do it is this: I would invest that $1,000 into this podcast so I can continue helping people out. That's what I will say. Good answer. That's a good answer right there. That's what I would do if I had $1,000. I needed to help people out. I would contribute to making this my best means to positively contributing to the world. I would hope that I could increase the value. It will increase the quality, so I can get it out to more people. That's what I would say. Would you get a better microphone? My microphone's not bad. It's the best. It's the best brand that's out. That's what I will say. I definitely need one, but there's only one microphone better than this one. I think one or two, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's a good idea right there, sir. That's a good idea right there for sure. All right, give me 1 second. So yeah, like I said, you need to make sure you're leaving this world better than when you first arrived to this world. The world that it was, you must be leaving this world better than what you had got into this world with, right? And with that being said, There's gonna be many specific ways that you can go ahead and go about doing this, right? If you're watching this, whether you're rewatching this or watching this live, I want you to go and let me know another way that you could possibly contribute to this world. With this being said, one way that I recognize is by giving the world some children who are well mannered, who are able to truly be the best version of you, by you giving them the good qualities and by you raising them correctly, and by having these kind-hearted people in the world, right? You giving some children that are going to be, like I said, raised correctly. You're going to be in a position where you are that is going to be the positive contribution that you gave to this world. You gave a life that is going to be worth living truly to this world, right? And I do believe that that is going to be some people's contributions, even if you're not exactly the best person. Hopefully, you're able to raise children that are going to be great for other people. They're also going to be great at providing value to other people as well. With that being said, another way is, like I said, expressing the way you truly think, right? And some people could say maybe some people shouldn't say what they think, and I do believe that everybody should have a say to. Obviously, I would say everybody should have a say in some type of capacity, because at the very least, if people can observe that, they're gonna have two sides of the same. They're gonna have two sides to go ahead and choose from, and formulate their own thought from. And I do believe that that contributes to a better society instead of just having one thought be the truth. If you're able to have multiple different point of views, that means you're also going to have an observer who's observing all these multiple point of views, and then therefore making the best decision that that he or she thinks is fit. So that is going to be another way to positively contribute, is by giving your word out, and hopefully, if your word is truly battle tested, people agree with you, and if it's not, you're going to find a lot of people that disagree with you and that challenge the way that you think, right? But that is also ultimately good anyways, right? But like a lot of people, they have a super negative connotation to arguments, disagreements, debates, conversations. They have a negative viewpoint to some of those things, because maybe those things could get confrontational. But I do believe that iron sharpens iron in that aspect, right? Let's just say, for example, I have a very good argument and you have a less of a good argument. I'm challenging and basically reconstructing the way that you think in live in real time by having that type of conversation, and that's ultimately going to contribute to the positive world for sure. So, like I said, if there's anything that you want to go ahead and add before I go ahead and end it off, that you believe that is your responsibility to go ahead and contribute positively to this world, I want you to go ahead and leave in the comments. All right. Where y'all at, man? Where y'all at, man? Y'all was active, man. Y'all was active in the chat. Let's see. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. All right. So yes, I'll be having another podcast on Friday. Something I want to mention as well. Unfortunately, we will not be having one tomorrow, even though I typically do have one tomorrow. I'm going to be having one on Friday. So if you do want to watch the next podcast, just look out for the one that's going to be on Friday if you haven't already seen. Um, you can do a Marlon Craft stream. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I'll have to look into him. I have not heard too many things from that person, so I'll definitely look into it and I'll get back to you, Josh, for sure. I am. It's worth considering for sure. I want to travel the world to help people who are less fortunate than us. As us, okay. Jaden, that's a very very good that's a very very good wholesome answer for sure. Something that everyone should aspire to do if they're a person who um are privileged enough to create that opportunity for themselves and for other people. Then yes, then go ahead and do it. That's something that I would recommend for people to do for sure, as opposed to not. Good idea. Good idea though. Yeah, Marlon Craft though. I've never heard of him. Interesting. I'll look into his quotes on masculinity and positivity, because obviously that's gonna be some of the message that I do preach. So I do believe that maybe he can contribute to a podcast idea for me. So I'll look into it for sure. But other than that, fellas, this was episode 131 of the Life of Jam podcast, talking about your responsibility to the world. This responsibility is going to look in the form of you positively contributing to this world by you giving the wisdom and your learned experience to other people who are in the position that came before you, Random question: what is your favorite Drake album? I'll give you my top three. My top three are right here. Take Care, Thank Me Later, and Nothing Was the Same. That's my top three. Number one, Nothing Was the Same. That's my top one right there. Now, if you disagree with that, that's cool, man. Your opinions are just wrong. It's as simple as that, man. That's the best album he has to this day. That's all I gotta say. Other than that, no Scorpion, definitely not. Scorpion's up there, but it's probably top. He's top 10 for sure. Other than that, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one off. I appreciate everyone stopping by. Like I said, if you have any thoughts or comments that you feel like they're worth mentioning, make sure to go and leave in the comments. Like I said, live or rewatching this, all comments are going to be appreciated. Also, if you have a specific podcast topic that you think is worthy of me mentioning, that is going to be semi-relating to the topics that I have for this podcast, make sure to go and leave in the comments. Other than that, I'll leave you guys off with the podcast motto. Fellas out here, man, we don't just work around here, man. We outwork. So make sure y'all working these motherfuckers because you know that I am, man. Come on, you already know what time it is, man. So yeah, other than that, like I said, podcast on Friday. If new music comes out, I want to mention this. I want to mention it very, very clearly, right? If new music comes out miraculously, just know that I will be listening to that music, right? I'm not going to say any specific music is going to come out, but I'm just saying, let's just say a huge artist is going to drop very, very soon. Just know that I'll be listening to that album live, and I'm going to try to do it a little bit more often because I do believe that a lot of people enjoy that type of content. So look out for that as well. Other than that, y'all have a good night, and until Friday, man. Tap in with that podcast on Friday.